Tell you what, Jake Paul is a game mother. Taking on Nate Diaz because Nate Diaz is about it, man. You just need to watch his UFC career, his UFC fights. But to be fair, Jake Paul is a game man. Not scared to take them on, although he's been criticised fighting other YouTubers or basketball player. The UFC guys that are primarily wrestlers. But he's taken on Nate Diaz. He's fought Tommy Fury. I think that we saw his level in that Tommy Fury fight. But he's taken on Nate Diaz now. Now, Nate Diaz is about it, man. He is. I don't think he's going to take too lightly to any of the antics that Jake Paul tries to come with at the weigh-in or the press conference or anything along them lines. So I hope that Jake Paul has a massive security team, because we know that Nate Diaz does not give a flying what you try and do. He'll slap you no matter where you are. Because it is the fight game, man, and tensions run high no matter what, especially if fighters are making weight and whatnot. So I like the fight. Fair play to Jake Paul, man. Like I said, he is game. But the thing I'm worried about is that when Jake Paul, we've seen him, Jake Paul, Nate Diaz, when we see him connect with somebody and he hits somebody and he rocks somebody, hurts somebody, you just need to go as far back, just as the Leon Edwards fight. He hurt Leon Edwards in the last round. Instead of sort of jumping on him and trying to go for the finish, he sort of sat back and just pointed to Leon and as if to say, I got you. When I think that maybe if he jumped on Leon there, who knows what would have happened in that fight. But I think if he rocks or he connects flush with Jake Paul, will he go in for the kill, or will he stand there and just be like, point to him? The only good thing is with boxing gloves, you can't really point, and you can't really slap, so he can't get his open hand slap onto Jake Paul. So he's going to have to at least punch, because slapping is illegal in boxing. You can't slap. You've got to turn the knuckle in. But a great fight. I like it. The build-up's going to be fun because Jake Paul comes with antics, and I don't think Nate Diaz will really give a shit what Jake Paul does. If he tries to push Nate too far, then I think that maybe Nate might go that extra step further. I mean, you can do these little funny things where you say, oh, I bet you this, I bet you that, and get a tattoo, and I bet you this. I mean, Nate Diaz isn't about that. He is about that life when it comes to fighting. And he'll fight you in the streets, he'll fight in the cage, he'll fight you in the ring. He don't really care. But I've got to give Jake Paul credit, man. He's a game man. I mean, I don't think many people, especially the sort of YouTubers, will take on somebody like Nate Diaz with the way he is and his fighting style, because he is more of a stand-up guy. Again, his UFC career proves that he's a stand-up guy. And I'll tell you one thing, he's probably got one of the best chins in the combat world, not just MMA, but in the combat world, boxing as well. So will Jake Paul hurt Nate Diaz? I don't think so. But I can see Nate Diaz hurting Jake Paul. And when he does, will he jump on him? Will he go for the kill? Will he go for that finish even? That's what's intriguing about this fight. Now, you can say what you want about these fights, but Jake Paul is sort of trying to show that he is willing to fight anyone. I mean, it is a boxing match and it is against an MMA fighter, but at least this one's against an MMA fighter who can stand up and trade and is a striker. I mean, we all know that Tyron Woodley's a wrestler and Askins was a wrestler. So this striking is nothing compared to what Nate Diaz is going to bring to the table. But I tell you what, I'm liking it. I like it. I think Nate Diaz might do it. I think Nate Diaz, obviously, for the reputation that Nate has in the fight game, he has to do it. He has to knock him out. So fingers crossed, because I don't really care. But I think that Nate Diaz might get this win over Jake Paul. But fair play to Jake Paul for taking the fight. Yeah, I just hope that when he does crack him with a shot, Nate, he doesn't try and stand there and point. I think he goes in with the kill. And like I said, he can't slap with the 8-ounce, 10-ounce gloves on. So, yeah, let me know what you think.